Hello everybody, my name is Tarina and it is Tag Tuesday, so I decided I am going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag because, I mean, it seemed appropriate. So I'm just going to jump right into the questions here. My camera is dying as always. I have them on my phone. Number 1, why did you start this channel? The easy answer is because I wanted to. I've always wanted to be on YouTube. I, like most of my generation, am a little bit of an attention whore. I enjoy being in front of a camera. I enjoy having what I have to say out there. So I just decided to expand on my written blog and add videos. I still want to do my written blog. I just want to also do videos. Number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Now, I don't know if I would say unique. In reality, the only unique thing we all really bring are our personalities. We are all still talking about books and doing hauls and reviews, etc., etc. But I know that one thing that I don't see much of are books I like to read. And it's not that they're not out there. There are plenty of people out there who read children's books and middle grade books and historical fiction and nonfiction, which are the types of books that I like to read a lot of. But not nearly as much as read young adult or new adult contemporary novels, which are just popular, which makes perfect sense. But those are the types of books I read, and so it'll just be an additional channel for people who love those books and want content based off of those books. So I hope it'll be of use to somebody. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I am most excited about being a part of this community. I want to be able to, get to know booktubers and discover more booktubers and discover more books, and just have a platform with which to talk about books outside of my blog. The blog is really nice and I really love it, but I do find that it can be a little less personal when I'm sitting there typing. You're not always going to get my personality through. You're not always going to get my exact thoughts as I'm rambling and ranting. I don't know if that made any sense. Why do you love reading? Why do people love food? I mean, I don't know any other way but to read things. I grew up reading. Reading has always been just a part of my everyday. I can't remember a time before reading and books and words, and so I guess if I'm going to try to find a reason, the thing that would keep me reading, all throughout my childhood and middle grade years, the escapism of it. It is a very healthy and creative way for people to just escape from, everyday life and stress and different situations, and it's a way to run away into a world. And I've always loved learning as well. Books are a great way to learn. I didn't have a computer in my house until I was 6. By that point I was already reading. I didn't have internet, or I didn't have a regular internet connection until I was like 12 years old. So I was already used to going to the library to do my homework and research and learn, and any bit of knowledge I needed a book. I couldn't just go to the computer. So now I do have the computer, I do have that knowledge, but I'm just already so used to books equal learning equal happy Serena. What book or series got you into reading? This question doesn't really apply with me. It's more the person who got me into reading. I've mentioned before on my blog that I learned to read, and not only read, but love books in my grandmother's lap. She's unfortunately not with us anymore, but she taught me not only the letters and the words, but what reading can do for you, the magic in it. You know, as far back as I can remember, you know, her and I would curl up on a couch and she would read to me, or we would read, you know, our own separate books together. And I'm always hearing stories of how I was days old and she was reading Stephen King aloud to me. So there was never like, oh, this book was what made me realize books were good, or this series was what made me, you know, love the, you know, escapism. I just grew up with it, always. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Specifically, I mean, I'd ask Kat from Katie-tastic what she's writing, because her NaNoWriMo videos are what led me to her channel. But if we're talking just, you know, booktubers, I would ask, how do you get used to talking to this camera? Because it's weird. It's really weird. Like, looking directly at the lens is kind of awkward. And I don't have like a little thing to look at myself, so I'm just here. I can look at my cat. She's right there. I don't know if you can see her in the frame. Probably not. 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? My own personal work ethic. I'm really bad at keeping a schedule. Anybody who is watching this video from over my blog will probably know that I've had that blog for about a year now, and I am regularly telling myself, okay, this is the schedule I'm keeping, this is what I'm gonna do, and then I just proceed to not do that at all. I'm really bad at just maintaining the motivation to keep creating content, or at least at a regular pace. But I think everything else, the learning how to use a camera, the learning how to speak to a camera, the, you know, negative messages or comments, that sort of stuff, I'll figure all that out and, you know, let that all work itself out. It's my own inability to convince myself to do a thing that is the problem here. Like, I'm doing a year-a-thon right now, and it's day 2. Day 2, it's the 8th, and I haven't read anything. So we'll see what happens. When did you start reading? I already answered this. I started reading as I started speaking and breathing and eating, and reading was always just a thing for me. I think the question obviously is like, when did you start reading regularly? Like, when did you become a reader? And again, that's just always been the case. I can't remember a time when I didn't have a personal library. I can't remember a time when I wasn't always carrying a book around with me. I do know that the first time I ever read a book all by myself without anybody's help, and I was actually reading the words and not just remembering the story, was when I was 3 and it was Christmas and my dad got me some Dr. Seuss books, and he came back into the room, and I was reading them all by myself, and he was very proud of me. So I guess I technically started reading when I was 3 on Christmas. Very, very quaint story. Okay, so my camera died. It's been a few hours, it's got a little bit of charge in it, so let's just continue. We left off on where do I read? The answer to that is everywhere. I take a book with me everywhere. My favorite place to read in my house is my little reading corner downstairs. I have a nice comfy chair in front of a large floor-to-ceiling window. Have a little lamp, and right now my Christmas tree is right there, so it's just a really cozy spot. But I read in the car, I read on the train, I read on the bus, I read in my bed, I read here, in the hallway, wherever I read. And our final question is, what kind of books do you like to read? Now, I really enjoy historical fiction, nonfiction. I enjoy children's books, middle grade books. I have a couple of different books from my shelf that I can kind of show you my taste in reading. I have my favorite book of all time, The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, which is just a classic book, Barnes & Noble classic here. And, you know, besides that, I also have Oz, the Complete Collection, which I have all 15 books of the Wizard of Oz series, which is a children's story that was originally published in the 1890s. I also have Philippa Gregory novels. My favorite here is Whiteacre, which is definitely not for young readers, though I did read it at 12. Don't let your children read this at 12, guys. So it's just like a variety of different things. Not so much contemporary. I don't tend to read contemporary, new or young adult. I don't tend to read romances, though someone could say this was a romance. I don't tend to read fantasy, though if it is mildly fantastical, I do enjoy fairy tales. You know, I enjoy books like Song of Ice and Fire series. I have enjoyed the Lunar Chronicles. I really enjoyed An Ember in the Ashes. So pretty much anything you'll find on my shelf, from classics to children to anything. And that is it for this tag. I'm going to hurry up and get this video on my computer so I can edit it and get it up before Tag Tuesday is over. I meant to film this a lot earlier, but you know, camera died, so I did a bit of reading. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye. So I enjoy... One moment. Where do you read? Wherever I am. I'm sorry, baby. I smacked my cat.